Hey, what's up, all you beginner guitar players? I'm going to show you how to play My Girl today. This is a really great song if you don't know much about guitar. If you have a pick, great, go ahead and use that. If not, you can just use your thumb to play. Just play the strings. If you feel like you learned something from this lesson afterwards, please check out the description for some links to my iOS applications. I have one called Stairway to Lesson that has a bunch of famous tunes on it that you can learn how to play, and you can leave me a request for a new lesson right through the app. I also have another app called Stairway to Lesson 16 Chords to Jam With. So go ahead and check that one out as well if you want to start learning chords, learning how to strum. There's a bunch of strum patterns on there and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with My Girl. All right, so if this is your first time ever playing guitar, I'll kind of try to explain things to you the best that I can. If you're a little more advanced than that, maybe you can skip forward a little bit. But basically, what we're going to do here is, first things first, just learn the names of your strings so you can understand where I'm telling you to play. So the way I do that is just by a simple, just little phrase. So the strings from the lowest one, the one that's closest to your face, it's the highest string on the guitar, but it's the lowest sounding string. That's your low E string, all right? So you've got E, A, D, G, B, and E again. So high E, you got high E and low E. So the way I remember that is Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. All right, so it's a pretty simple way to remember your strings. Now, if you just have your guitar and you don't even have it tuned up or anything, you might want to go check out another video on how to tune your guitar. Otherwise, you can try to tune it to mine right now if you want. So here's what my low E sounds like. All right, and here's A. Here's D. Here's G. Here's B. And here's high E. All right, so you might have to rewind that and tune it up a couple times to those strings. So let's go ahead and get started. So basically, I'm going to use on my hand that's pressing down on the fretboard, I'm going to use my index, my middle, and my ring finger for this song. All right. Now your index finger is going to cover everything in the first fret area. So if you don't know what your frets are, they are these metal pieces that go across the fretboard. So those are your frets. Now, everything kind of behind that first metal fret there, that's the first fret area. Now, your middle finger is going to cover second fret area, so that's everything in here. And your ring finger is going to cover the third fret area. That's everything in here by that dot. So most guitars will have, a dot on the top here that you can see, and also a dot on the fretboard. So that'll show you where the third fret is. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with our ring finger on the third fret of the A string. So remember, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. So Eddie ate. So that's our A string right there. So you're going to set your ring finger down using your fingertip. You're going to set it down and press on the third fret of the A string. All right. Now you can use a pick to pluck that string, or you can use your thumb. Either one is fine. I'm going to use a pick. So you should get that note. All right. So that's the first note of the song. Congratulations. All right. The second note of the song is an open D string. So Eddie ate dynamite. All right. So that's your D string right there. So let's try playing both those notes together. Ring finger on the third fret of the A string. Pretty simple, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is use our middle finger on the second fret of the D string. So you set your middle finger down on second fret of the D string. It should sound like that. All right, so here's what we've got. A little slower. All right. So the next note after that second fret of the D string is an open G. All right, so Eddie ate dynamite, good. So that's G right there. So that's the next note. So here's all four of those notes we've got so far. So ring finger starts on third fret of the A, open D, middle finger down second fret of the D, then open G. So let's try that all together. One more time, a little slower. All right, so the next note is middle finger down on second fret of the G. All right, so Eddie ate dynamite, good. So we're still on the G. Middle finger down on second fret there. All right, so all that together. All right, so let's take a look at the last note in this riff phrase. So your index finger now is covering first fret, remember? So index finger covers first fret, middle finger covers second fret, ring finger covers third fret. So index finger is going to sit down on the first fret of the B string. All right, so Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye. So that's B, and then index finger, first fret of the B string. All right, so that whole riff phrase sounds like this. So a little slower. So try repeating that a few times at a nice slow pace. All right, so that makes up the whole first riff phrase of the song. All right, now if you actually listen to the song, he plays through that a couple times, and then he'll go into an alternating pattern between that riff and another riff, which I'm going to show you right now. So the second riff in the song goes like this. You start with your index finger on the first fret of the low E string, right? So this is kind of a long reach. You know, your index finger's got to get all the way up there to that low E string and press down on that first fret. And it's also kind of a thick string, hard to press down on. So if you can't get it to ring out, that's okay. Just keep working at it and try to get it to ring out. All right, so that's the first note in the second riff phrase. All right, the second note, we're going to take our ring finger now and jump it up here to the third fret of the E. So we were just on first fret. So that's what we've got so far. First fret, third fret. Okay? So the third note is open A. All right, so here's what we've got. Okay, let's go ahead and keep moving on. Ring finger sets down now on third fret of the A string. Remember, that's the first note of the first riff. So right there, third fret of the A string. So here's what we've got so far. All right, let's keep moving on. Next note is open D. So there's kind of a little bit of a pattern going on here. We have a lot of open strings So sometimes I like to try to visualize. You look at your hand and you look at the frets you're playing and stuff, and you try to find like common factors. So one that's happening is that our ring finger is doing a lot of third fret work. All right. So that's the whole riff. So yeah, just take a look at this. So we're just first fret of the low E to third fret of the low E to open A to third fret of the open A to open D to third fret of the D. Right? So a little slower. So what you want to do now is work alternating between these two parts like they do in the song. So you start out on the first riff where your ring finger is on the third fret of the A string, and you play that riff once. And then you jump your index finger all the way up and you play the second riff once. And now you jump your ring finger up to the third fret of the A, play the first riff again. Index finger jumps all the way up, first fret of the low E. All right, I hope that helped you get a good start. Don't forget to check out the description for some links. Leave a comment if you're having some trouble. Leave me a request. Go check out the apps. Leave me a request on one of the apps, and I'll see you on the next video.